Hey everybody, welcome back to this channel. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Callie. This is my channel. It is super random, and tonight is no different because I'm doing a video about a new movie that I just saw. Alright, it just came out 2021. It's called Voyagers. But first, if you are new to this channel and you have yet to hit that subscribe button, go ahead, hit it. All right, you can check out the channel, see what I'm about, see if you like what I put out there. All right, if you don't subscribe, but if you do, subscribe or save yourself the time. Don't look at the channel, but make sure you subscribe. All right, so you don't miss what comes next, because you never know what's gonna come on here. As I've said, it's pretty random, all right? And hi to everybody who has been with me since the beginning. Those of you who still tune in and watch my videos, I really appreciate it. I appreciate you, and I am grateful and honored to be here in front of you all talking. So with that said, I'm going to get into this. All right, I don't know if you would call it a movie review or if it would just be, I don't know if I'm going to give away spoilers yet or if I'm just going to talk about my quick overview of what messages, deep and hidden maybe to the rest of the world, that I was able to catch on to. All right, so I guess I'll set the stage first. It's a movie about human race needing to breed a new breed of human to go on this voyage to a new planet, because basically they need the species, the human species, to live on, and they can't send anyone from Earth because, one, they wouldn't be able to handle the confinement, they wouldn't be able to handle not coming back, and they probably wouldn't be able to handle dying on the ship. So their idea, actually create children with, lab children, um, and raise them in the ship so they never know what it's like to be on Earth, so they never, can be unhappy with the confinement, and send them. And it's not them that would make it, and it's not their children, but it is their grandchildren who would finally arrive to this planet. So that is what they did. They created these children who they sent on the ship, right? And a couple things I found interesting was, one, that they had to actually drug these children, and they basically drugged them with a chemical that made them more docile and, in a sense, diminished all their sexual urges and primal impulses, right? So it just calmed the human experience down. And so to me, that makes me instantly think of like fluoride, for instance, right? What they're doing. And not even just fluoride, but they use other drugs, antipsychotics and things like that, to really dull people down, like bring them completely down, shut off the mind, lower the inhibition and things like that. And so make them more docile so they comply easier. So when that part of the movie was revealed, I was like, okay, that actually. So, but real quick, this is a movie made by Fibonacci Studios, all right? And they do good movies. I like their movies. The other movie they did that I watched was Limitless. And I thought that was interesting because, people think you need a pill to do that. However, I truly know you can do that through just focus, meditation, and practice, right? Anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about this. So the first thing, they were drugging them, which is, a lot like what they're doing to people now. And I have to play devil's advocate here. Like, I understand in a way why they have to drug people. Not just that, like, maybe it's wrong. Okay, fine. But not just that, is also one of the reasons why they use religion. Because people, right, is why the shadow is such like a big thing now, because people don't want to face that part of them, but it's like the human nature, and the human nature is pretty wild, right? It wants to have sex. It wants to have pleasure. It wants to be just primal, right? We'll stop there. It just is a primal part of us that is just goes all on urge and impulse and feeling. All right, there's not a lot of that logical thought. So they're drugging these children, which at this point, when they finally are, on, they're like, they look to be in their like late teens, maybe early 20s, They find out they're being drugged. They stop taking the drug, and this is when obviously chaos ensues, right? And so I guess this is a spoiler alert. So if you haven't watched the movie, this is a spoiler. All right, I'm kind of going to give it away a little bit, parts of it. I won't tell you what happens, but I'm giving some of the movie away. So they find out they're being drugged, and they're like, you know what, we're not going to take this anymore. And you have basically two men here. One of them is primal. He starts grabbing the women and, like, I am man, you can't hold me back type thing, like wanting to fight. And the other guy is just like, he stops taking it, but he's more of a thinker. He like thinks about what he's doing, and he watches and he observes. And the other one is just all on primality, like, let me just go for all that pleasure, that sensation, that feeling. And so it doesn't take long before they murder their chief, who is the only person from Earth that they know as a child, right? Okay, now all these kids are alone on this ship, and you have they thankfully at first, you would think that the crew is logical at first, and they pick the most logical person who's not acting crazy to be the chief. However, the one who's acting crazy gets primal, and he's like, you know what, I'm not going to listen to you. Let's, he orchestrates this whole thing. Long story short, right, he takes over the ship. And the other thing, all right, this is the other thing I want to talk about that I find really interesting. And I apologize if it was like a bunch of babble to get here, but something called crowd psychology or group think. All right, what happens when people get together or they're in a group? This is something that for a long time has been just for forever. This is how we've always, basically, you can just have your mind taken away from you in that moment because you don't think on your own, you think in the group. It's called group think because there's like a trance-like state that comes over everybody. And even if what's happening isn't logical, you follow it because there's that impulse, that emotion. And that's what he did. The guy, he incited their fear. He triggered their fear, which created this emotion that took over them. And they all became illogical. They started hurting each other. They started doing, crazy, crazy stuff that was just like anyone in their right mind wouldn't think that was logical. However, that's what happens. It's called mob mentality. When groups of people get together and they're emotional, they can just, it's chaos. It's pure chaos. We'll say that. And so the movie was really showing how dangerous people can be when they are not just in a group together, but when they're being led by someone who doesn't have the best interest in the group, or just someone who has real harmful motives, right? You've seen it with Hitler, right? Hitler supposedly got all these people to do these really terrible things. And so, like, it's what happens, right? When the masses start acting like asses. It's because they're being influenced. They're not thinking for themselves. They're in that groupthink mentality. And I don't know, it was pretty crazy, to be honest. It was pretty crazy because, it's that movie really does show a lot about the psychology and the way people work. Some people, I guess. And what I think it was also showing was there are different types of people. There are people, and we see this every single day. And this is one of the most things that is so mind-boggling to me, because I used to grow up thinking everybody was like me, like, and then I get out into the world and realize, okay, people are definitely not like me. Only about 24% of people are actually thinking beings, right? So that means the other 76% are just going off of like what they feel, or primal, right? And in the work that I do, I can easily see as level of consciousness based on genetics, based on if people believe in soul origin or whatever, but genetics is a big one. How long has the lineage been alive, right? What have they been through? How have they had to survive? Are they still in that primal survival stage? Some souls, they say, are young, right? They come here, they got to learn how to survive. Some souls are to the point of where it's like, okay, what comes after here? What comes after the whole earth experience? Because that's what I'm going to focus my energy on. So there's just different levels of consciousness. But if we're looking at the human experience, I really feel as though it's a genetic thing, right? And that is not like about, I'm not a eugenics person or anything like that. I'm just saying that there is a difference, and not that one deserves to be here more than the other, but in a world where, you have all these people kind of confined in this space, what do you do, right? So in a way, it gives cause to like the governments for their part in trying to subdue or control even the nature of some people. And I do say some people because I really feel like it is some people, and I'm not like pointing fingers or anything like that, but it's some people have very primal natures, and if they weren't following religion or maybe being chemically subdued, these could be the people that were out there, raping or killing, and you got to ask yourself, is that the type of world we want to live in, right? We could go back to natural times. Like there was another movie called Synchronicity, or Synchronicities, or I don't know. Basically, it was about this pill you can take to go back in the future, or no, back in time. And they were going back in time, and these times were not anything to be idolized. It was really hard for these people. Our ancestors had to go through a whole lot to survive. The land I am sitting on right now, there was murders, there was wars, there was slavery, there was really terrible, crazy things happening on this land. And this is just within the last 100 years, like not even going back further than that, which I'm sure you get Columbus and, whatever basically happened to the people, the natives, the American Indians that were here, what they went through, and even before them. So yeah, it's like the Wild Wild West, right? We got more civilized. Now we have a government that gives us laws and rules, and a lot of people, they think like, oh, we don't like that government, but there's two sides. There's two sides. Some people do need that government, and I can see that. And it really does show that in the movie, that this guy was really dangerous. Had he continued being, drugged and following the rules, maybe he would have gone his whole life without hurting people. But because he became free of his own will, he became really destructive and harmful to the people around him. So I never realized that until recently, even about religion, how they use religion to control the nature of people, because now you have someone watching you all the time, and it makes people think, oh, you start with the fear of hell, the fear of damnation, right? And it gets them thinking, oh, well, I don't, that's scary. The idea, the concept, the thought of burning in hell for, eternity, since fire is hot and it hurts. And the reptile brain wants nothing to do with that pain. So they behave differently. And it's true, even when they've studied like neurons and different like particles and things like that, that things act differently when being observed. So when people think that there is an almighty high or Jesus, like, I'll be honest with you, when I was back into religion, I was rebaptized at 21. So I thought Jesus was like sitting right next to me, like watching me do all the things I was doing. And I would be like, Jesus, like, I'm sorry, but I got to do this. Like, I gotta do this. This is when I was back, into the scene. But I was like, I got to do this. If not, I'll start withdrawing and detoxing, and people around me will be like, what's wrong with her? Because I was around people who had no idea. Kind of closet. I was trying to get sober, but it wasn't super easy. So yeah, I can easily see how people act differently because they think that, one, they're going to be sent to hell forever, or two, because they're being watched. So, and I'm not saying no one's watching, okay? Because I'm sure there's people watching, not people, beings. Like, if time is not linear, like this, we're going off, okay? Maybe I won't title this video about just a basic review. This is going to be a little more than that. But if we're going off into like time travel and things like that, time is not necessarily linear, so they say. So that means that the past, the present, the future is all happening now. So in this time and in this space, past and future, one, who was here before me, and two, who's going to be here after me, and are they here right now, right? Are they observing me? I'm not obviously observing them unless maybe I can tune into that frequency by practice, right? By focused attention. I absolutely could see how it's possible, but I haven't done it, so don't quote me on that, right? I'm just hypothesizing here. So yeah, anyway, all of that was to say that there very well could be lots of energy spirits watching, right? The ones, at least from the past, they say that those who, the energies still wander. And if you're someone who is known as a medium, I'm not going to call myself a medium because, for one, I don't necessarily, I'll be honest with you. I like the concept of Earth. Like, I like to play pretend and be here as a human. Let me have my human experience, right? But I know I'm not only human, right? I know that there is much more than the human experience. And so then I'm confronted by energies. And I'm like, you know what? Energies, like, let me be here and let me be human and enjoy the human experience. Like, there's only what I see and nothing that I can't see. It's fun to... Anyway, okay, I'm not going to go off here, but yeah, it was an interesting movie that got me thinking, like, wow, it really shows the psychology of humans. I'll be so honest. Just recently, there was a group of about 5 to 7. All right, so I live in a nice, quiet neighborhood. I'm very blessed, very lucky. It is quiet, not a lot going on here. People really keep to themselves. We know each other, but we're all like, we'll keep to our lives, stay in our, lane. Like, we've had interactions, like the neighbor gave me sugar cane. It was really awesome. And, we talk, hey, how was it when the power went out? You guys okay? You need anything type? But it's like, other than that, we all stay in our lane. We all just live our lives. Some people moved out and some other people moved in. And I'm not judgmental. Like, I've been there, I've done it. All right, but these are some people who, like, always have at least 4, 5 people, like men, some women sometimes, hanging out in the road. Okay. And it's cool. Like, I don't have a problem with it. But one night it was like 10, 11 o'clock. And sometimes we drive my son around because it helps him sleep. It just relaxes him. It's if that's what he likes, I have no reason not to give it to him. So we went out one night and there was like 7 or 8 of them out there. Like young boys, man. I don't know. They had to be old. Like, they had to be anywhere from like 15 to 25, right? Anywhere between there. And the energy I felt from them was just like one, I would not want to be alone walking by them. All right, the energy I felt was so off. And then when we drove by them, right, I was already feeling like, whoa, like this is, in a way, I felt like this is dangerous. Like, this is dangerous. Not because if it's a group of men, it's just, the energy of these people when they were together just really put me off. And as we were driving by, one of them comes and he flips us off. And I'm just like, what? Like, what? And so I was kind of shocked, to be honest. And I was really like trying to put myself in the shoes of these people. And maybe he was trying to be cool, or they all like that. I don't know. But just like the movie, it only takes one really crazy person to influence the rest, and then they all become crazy like that. So it's group think. You're not yourself when you're in a group of people. Walk into a mall and feel that energy. All right, you may be someone who goes and does a lot of stuff with people and you don't know when you're going into that trance state, but it is a crazy energy that takes over. And it's almost like a high, really. Sometimes it's fun unless you're, doing stuff you don't want to do, then it's not so fun. But hive mentality, that's what they call it. But yeah, so just my own experience of when people get together and how dangerous it is. Like, what if I had been walking alone by these men, these boys, these people, and just the hostile energy, like, I definitely would have feared for my safety. No joke. I do still. If I'll be 100% honest, if they're out there, I will not walk my son alone. I won't walk alone. Now, if there's like 1 or 2 of them, it's not so bad. The guy that lives there is one guy, or maybe 2 of them, like maybe they're brothers. One of them, like the 2 are not that bad, like they seem to stay in their lane, but it's when they get all of their friends coming over that the energy starts to get a little crazy. And maybe he's not the crazy one. Like, they had cap guns and they were like, like maybe they're just like gangster wannabes or something. They want to be cool, but the issue is sometimes with the young minds, they haven't developed that compassion or that logical thinking. Like, it's new, because you don't start using your neocortex until you're like 7 years old, and even then, it takes time to get used to it. You still are very emotional and very primal. And so you see that with children, why they're so mean to each other is because they're stuck in that really primal mentality, which lives and thrives purely on physical differences and, stating things like that, because it's survival. The reptile mind is all about survival. Okay, this will kill me, this will kill me, that looks different. I don't like different because in the past, different meant a lion jumping out of a bush and eating me. Like, you got to know why people fear things that they do fear. It's all from the past. So yeah, anyway, I'm not going to keep going. 25 minutes, my word. I don't know. You guys know how I can get if you are with the channel, if you're with me. So yeah, and it's late at night. For some reason, I just come alive at night. It's like the daytime. I think it's because everybody's sleeping and I have more like clear air with all the people not clouding it with their, or I'm just a night person. I don't know. I'm trying to get back on a schedule, but I really have so much energy at night and I have time too. So yeah. And speaking of time and space, I was just walking around the other night and I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, what if our body is like the ship and what's around us is space? Like, we're in space. We're traveling through time and space. Like, this is space, right? I can go here, I can go there. I'm in this body, which is like a really intense machine, but I feel sentient. I feel like my body is alive because it speaks to me all the time and it says, stop doing that, or you should do this, or it really just wants me to like connect and take care of it and love it and make it feel good. It's kind of like they've compared the body to like a woman, what a woman needs, and then the mind to like a man or a male. So yeah, anyway, just the rantings of me at night. I'm gonna end this 30 minutes. I don't know who's gonna listen to me for 30 minutes, but if you did listen to me for 30 minutes, all right, and you have anything to say about anything that I've said, please comment below. If you are someone who doesn't feel confident, or you don't feel, you're just feel free to message me on any one of my various platforms. Also in the description below, I got lots of stuff down there. Write a comment, let me know who you are, how you are, where you are. I want to know who's watching these videos. I do know though, like, I know that there's people watching this who are not going to tell me like, hey, I'm watching, but you know me, and you either love me and you hate me, and if you love me, I love you too, and if you hate me, I love you too. So either way, I appreciate the energy you're shooting my way. I appreciate it. So again, thank you all for tuning in. If you're new and this video was like, okay, she's a quack, like she's crazy, you can subscribe just to get some entertainment. It's free entertainment, but if you like the channel, or if you like the energy, whatever, hit that subscribe button so you can stay updated when I upload more videos. I got lots coming. All right, I have to break out of my last high because I went on a new low. I definitely took some time off of YouTube because, well, I actually took a time off everything for lots of reasons. One, I broke my collarbone here, and she's still she's doing good. We're getting back in there. We're reconnecting. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night. I hope you all take care. Have a great rest of the week. All right. I will see you guys all next time.